when he reached the cottage. "Of course you have dined?" said Herriot. "Not a bit of it. I left before 5, being sure that I could get here in an hour and a half. I have been riding up and down these dreary hills for nearly 5 hours. You have dined?" "There was a neck of mutton and a chicken. She said the neck of mutton would keep hot best, so I took the chicken. I hope you like lukewarm neck of mutton?" "I'm hungry enough to eat anything, not but what I had a first rate luncheon. What have you done all day?" "Stone and toddy," said Herriot. "Stick to that. If anything can pull you through, stone and toddy will. I lived upon them for 2 years." "Stone and toddy, with a little tobacco, have been all my comfort. I began, however, by sleeping for a few hours. Then I went upon the mountains." "Did you take a gun?" "I took it out of the case, but it didn't come right, and so I left it. A man came to me and said he was the keeper." "He'd have put the gun right for you." "I was too bashful for that. I persuaded him that I wanted to go out alone and see what birds there were, and at last I induced him to stay here with the old woman. He is to be at the cottage at 9 to morrow. I hope that is all right." In the evening, as they smoked and drank whisky and water, probably supposing that to be correct in Ayrshire, they were led on by the combined warmth of the spirit, the tobacco, and their friendship, to talk about women. Frank, some month or 6 weeks since, in a moment of soft confidence, had told his friend of his engagement with Lucy Morris. Of Lizzie Eustace he had spoken only as of a cousin whose interests were dear to him. Her engagement with Lord Fawn was known to all London, and was, therefore, known to Arthur Herriot. Some distant rumour, however, had reached him that the course of true love was not running quite smooth, and therefore on that subject he would not speak, at any rate until Greystock should first mention it. "How odd it is to find 2 women living all alone in a great house like that," Frank had said. "Because so few women have means to live in large houses unless they live with fathers or husbands." "The truth is," said Frank, "that women don't do well alone. There is always a savour of misfortune, or, at least, of melancholy, about a household which has no man to look after it. With us, generally, old maids don't keep houses, and widows marry again. No doubt it was an unconscious appreciation of this feeling which brought about the burning of Indian widows. There is an unfitness in women for solitude. A female Prometheus, even without a vulture, would indicate cruelty worse even than Jove's. A woman should marry, once, twice, and thrice if necessary." "Women can't marry without men to marry them." Frank Greystock filled his pipe as he went on with his lecture. "That idea as to the greater number of women is all nonsense. Of course we are speaking of our own kind of men and women, and the disproportion of the numbers in so small a division of the population amounts to nothing. We have no statistics to tell us whether there be any such disproportion in classes where men do not die early from overwork." "More females are born than males." "That's more than I know. As one of the legislators of the country I am prepared to state that statistics are always false. What we have to do is to induce men to marry. We can't do it by statute." "No, thank God." "Nor yet by fashion." "Fashion seems to be going the other way," said Herriot. "It can only be done by education and conscience. Take men of 40 all round, men of our own class, you believe that the married men are happier than the unmarried? I want an answer, you know, just for the sake of the argument." "I think the married men are the happier. But you speak as the fox who had lost his tail, or at any rate as a fox in the act of losing it." "Never mind my tail. If morality in life and enlarged affections are conducive to happiness, it must be so." "Short commons and unpaid bills are conducive to misery. That's what I should say if I wanted to oppose you." "I never came across a man willing to speak the truth who did not admit that, in the long run, married men are the happier. As regards women, there isn't even ground for an argument. And yet men don't marry." "They can't." "You mean there isn't food enough in the world." "The man fears that he won't get enough of what there is for his wife and family." "The labourer with 12 shillings a week has no such fear. And if he did marry, the food would come. It isn't that. The man is unconscientious and ignorant as to the sources of true happiness, and won't submit himself to cold mutton and 3 clean shirts a week, not because he dislikes mutton and dirty linen himself, but because the world says they are vulgar. That's the feeling that keeps you from marrying, Herriot." "As for me," said Herriot, I regard myself as so placed that I do not dare to think of a young woman of my own rank except as a creature that must be foreign to me. I cannot make such a one my friend as I would a man, because I should be in love with her at once. And I do not dare to be in love, because I would not see a wife and children starve. I regard my position as one of enforced monasticism, and myself as a monk under the cruelest compulsion. I often wish that I had been brought up as a journeyman hatter." "Why a hatter?" "I'm told it's an active sort of life. You're fast asleep, and I was just now when you were preaching. We'd better go to bed. 9 o'clock for breakfast, I suppose?" CHAPTER XXV.